The mystery surrounding pipe bombs mailed to prominent Democratic leaders may be over. Coming up, we'll take a look at who federal police have charged and how they plan to move forward. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Ashley Muller.
And I'm Madison Scarpino.
A man has been arrested in Florida in connection with a series of suspicious packages sent to prominent critics of President Donald Trump and CNN this week.
The Department of Justice says the suspect is charged with 5 federal crimes, including targeting a former president.
A suspect is in the custody of the FBI.
Federal authorities announced the arrest of 56-year-old Florida resident Cesar Sayoc in connection with a rash of suspected explosive devices discovered across the country this week.
Our investigation ranged from New York to Delaware to Maryland to the District of Columbia to Florida to California. And as it always does, the FBI responded with every resource we've got.
Authorities say Sayoc has a criminal history, including a threat to bomb arrest in 2002. None of the suspicious packages discovered this week detonated, but the intended recipients include prominent Democrats, like former President Obama and Hillary Clinton, and President Trump critics, like Robert De Niro and George Soros.
These terrorizing acts are despicable.
At the White House today, President Trump applauded law enforcement and said the perpetrators would be brought to justice.
I've instructed authorities to spare no resource or expense in finding those responsible and bringing them to swift and certain justice.
Authorities say that a fingerprint found on the package sent to Congresswoman Maxine Waters is what led to the arrest. If Sayoc is found guilty on all 5 counts, he faces up to 48 years in prison. The midterm elections are sooner than you think, but are students ready to vote? NewsWatch reporter Gracie Schneider tries to answer the question.
Most experts predict a record turnout in 2 weeks for the midterm elections. Yet Connor Dowling, Associate Professor of Political Science, says some voters will stay home.
A lot of people feel like they don't have enough information to sort of cast an informed ballot, and that sometimes prevents them from wanting to vote or feeling it's worth their time to vote.
We asked 5 Ole Miss students if they were going to vote. 4 out of 5 said yes.
Yes, I am, because I think that it's really important to stay connected with your community and what's going on in the world, not just on campus.
I'm not planning to vote on the midterm elections just because of how busy schoolwork is here and how busy my life is around here.
Yes, I do plan to vote in the midterm elections. This is my first year being able to vote, considering I just turned 18, and I think it's very important to voice their opinions.
I will be voting at the courthouse in Oxford.
Well, I'm from Texas, so I do absentee ballot.
Dowling says more young people are expected to vote in the upcoming election.
But I think there is a sense, at least from sort of talking to people on campus and in classes, that a lot of young people are more interested this time around.
Midterm elections are November 6th, and if you're registered to vote in Oxford, you can come to the Lafayette County Courthouse to vote or send in an absentee ballot. Gracie Snyder, NewsWatch, Ole Miss.
Midterm elections are held every 4 years, near the midpoint of a president's 4-year term. Early polls are showing that the Democratic Party might take over Congress.
If you have prescription drugs you want to get rid of, then tomorrow you'll have that chance. NewsWatch reporter Halle Ames is in the studio to tell us how OPD can help. Halle?
Thanks, Madison. Tomorrow is the biannual National Drug Take-Back Day, where across the country you can properly dispose of unused and unneeded prescription drugs.
Tomorrow is National Drug Take-Back Day. This day is used around the country to emphasize the importance of returning unneeded prescription medications.
Well, I know based on a first-hand basis, and also some people that I know, if you have an addicted personality or if you're addicted to something in general, it's a really, really good way to get it out of the house this way. If you're having a bad day or something doesn't go the way you want it to, you don't turn to that as your answer. So I think that's the number one important part of this day. It's to get it out of the way of people who may need it or think they need it.
The take-back bins are located in the University Police Department as well as the Oxford Police Department. The University bin will be in front of the Thad Cochran Center from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, and the Oxford Police Department bin is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Really wanting to encourage everybody to do it on a consistent basis. If you get sick or you have surgery and you don't use all your medicine, once you're kind of healed and through that, go ahead and take 2 or 3 of the medicines or the bag of medicines you've got left, bring it up here, put it in the box. We'll collect it and we can get rid of it appropriately throughout the year.
Now, the Oxford Police Department wants to urge that while National Drug Take-Back Day is only twice a year, if you have any unneeded prescriptions sitting around your house, you can take them to the police department's take-back bin any time of the day or week and dispose of them properly.
You can locate a take-back bin closest to you by Googling takebackday.dea.gov. We'll also be putting that on our Facebook page. Madison, back to you.
Thanks, Halle. Yesterday at St. Peter's Episcopal Church, Oxford residents took a silent walk in support of domestic violence victims. NewsWatch reporter Nadja Jauregui is in the newsroom with the story. Nadja?
That's right, Madison. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Family Crisis Services held their first ever silent walk. Domestic violence advocate Mary Margaret Schaff says she hopes this walk will continue to bring awareness to the community.
The Family Crisis Service holds several programs and campaigns over the year to help protect against domestic violence. Domestic violence advocate Mary Margaret Schaff says she hopes this walk along the square will be the first of many.
Oxford is a wonderful place, but there are some serious issues that need to be brought to light, and I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and so what better way to make them stop and listen than to us walk around the square.
The Family Crisis Service has been advocating for domestic violence throughout the month, with their increasing number of programs and volunteers getting involved. Participant Vaughn Phipps says that she loves that the community is walking in memory of victims.
Especially since Mary Margaret has been there, I've noticed a lot more awareness just around the community, especially on the university campus, and I love that we're doing this, around the walk today, because I do feel like it will get bigger. It will get bigger and better.
Family Crisis Services currently has signs and banners hanging around Oxford as one of their many projects to help raise awareness.
We just hope people are seeing the signs, and if it stays in their mind and it becomes a conversation later, then the signs have done their purpose.
The Family Crisis Services offers on-site counseling and advocacy for victims of domestic violence. For any immediate emergency, please call 911. Ashley, back to you.
Thanks, Nadja. A plaque memorializing Elwood Higginbottom, the 7th and last lynching victim in Lafayette County in 1935, will be installed this Saturday in Oxford. The unveiling will be at Second Baptist Church, followed by a community meal to honor the family afterwards. The 90-minute ceremony will feature performances by the UM Gospel Choir and local singer Effie Burt. Over 60 members and descendants of the Higginbottom family will be attending. Our reporter Thomas Goris will be at the ceremony tomorrow, and we'll have that story for you on Monday.
The search continues for a sexual assault suspect after a reported incident Saturday afternoon. The Oxford Police Department says the second attack later that night could have been done by the same man within hours of the first assault. The evidence is not concrete enough to say for certain. The reported profiles are similar to each other. OPD and UPD are working together on this investigation. OPD asked anyone who was in the Ford Center parking lot between 7:45 and 8:10 Saturday night and anyone with information to contact them. A $5,000 reward is also being offered to anyone who provides information leading to the arrest of the suspect.
Needles, needles, and more needles. These are what were used this past week at the annual blood drive took place at the Marriott Hotel in Oxford. NewsWatch reporter Carson King went to the event to find out more.
Kappa Alpha Theta and Mississippi Blood Services held their annual blood drive, and yet again it was a major success with over 600 people donating.
Every donation saves at least 3 lives, so you can multiply that times 3. They've saved a lot of lives here this week.
This is the Mississippi Blood Service's biggest drive and has continually seen an increase in donors. Theta Philanthropy Chair Sydney Sardashny explains why this may be.
Number-wise, I think this year we're doing a lot better than last year. I think that just everybody, hearing about it last year, and for people who couldn't donate last year, they're more prepared this year.
The blood drive is always searching for people to donate, but why is it so important?
We are your state-based blood supplier, so we are dependent upon every donor that comes through our doors to save the patient lives of the people of this state.
Even though donating blood seems like something minor, the impact is major. One mother explained to Sardashni why donating means so much to her.
Just the other day, this lady came in here and she was like, oh, every time I see like a banner for like a blood drive, like I come in because my son needed a blood transfusion. So she always donates.
So if you missed the blood drive this week, have no fear because there's still plenty of opportunities to give back.
We have hubs that operate all throughout this state. So on any given day, we have 10 to 12 buses at a different drive.
To find these hub locations, visit msblood.com for more. Carson King, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Mississippi Blood Services saw around 175 people per day, and as of yesterday, the blood donated will help save over 1,600 lives.
One Oxford Montessori school is hosting an annual Halloween play with an adorable historical twist. NewsWatch reporter Madison Ames takes us there.
While Halloween is usually full of spooky laughs, at Magnolia Montessori, the October holiday is filled with giggles and learning.
The historical Halloween presentations are autobiographies that the students write about a historical figure.
The annual historical Halloween this year came with a twist, with the theme being peacemakers, which teachers say is a good way for students to learn about the world and how to be kind to others.
I always believe that if we want adults to be responsible and conscientious, we have to start teaching them to be responsible and conscientious as children.
The students chose famous peacemakers as role models to write about this year, and the kids seemed to love it.
I just like finding out about the character that I'm being.
Why did you pick to be George Washington Carver?
Because he invented peanuts and I eat peanuts, and he invented hunger, and I'm always hungry.
What did you like most about Miss Ruby Bridges?
That she helped make peace and white people and black people to go together.
Madison Amen, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Up next, see which show NBC has officially canceled and what it can mean for the host's future at the company.
And stay tuned to see how one U.S. territory is faring after being hit by a powerful storm and how one UN professor is helping. But first, Kayla White has the first look at our current conditions.
Good evening, Rebels and Hottie Toddy. We are in for a treat this weekend because it looks like the sun is back to pay us a visit, if only for a while. We have warmer temperatures going into next week and then showers towards the end of the week. We'll enjoy this great weather while we have it. If we look back at our radar image, you can see there's not much going on in Hottie Toddy land. And if you stick with me for Storm Watch, I'll let you know just how long this nice weather is going to last.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
So, I'm kinda new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
NBC News anchor Megyn Kelly will not be returning to host the Today Show. Her absence is due to harsh criticism after Tuesday's Halloween segment, where Kelly questioned why blackface would be considered racially insensitive. This marks the end of Kelly's rocky run since moving from Fox News to NBC. Her lawyer, Brian Friedman, said that Kelly remains an NBC News employee and that discussions about her future with the company are continuing. Sources familiar with these conversations say Kelly is likely to leave the company. The Trump administration is looking to restrict or block asylum-seeking migrants' ability to enter our country. Officials say all options are on the table for sealing the border, including denial of asylum applications based on the travel ban of 2017. Overall, officials are looking to crack down on border crossings. This includes migrants, a part of the caravan that left Honduras on October 12th. The van is now over 1,000 miles away from the U.S. border. A White House official says no decisions have been made at this time, nor will they forecast strategies to smugglers and caravans.
2 people are dead after a shooting at a Kentucky supermarket. Police say the incident happened Wednesday afternoon at this Kroger in Jeffersontown. The suspect has been identified as Gregory Bush. Bush was seen trying to enter a predominantly black church nearby before the shooting. The county coroner's office identified the 2 victims as a man and a woman. Bush was arrested shortly after fleeing the scene. A Kroger spokesperson says the store will remain closed until the investigation there concludes. Super Typhoon U2 slammed into the U.S. territory of the Northern Mariana Islands Wednesday night, bringing with it the strength of a Category 5 hurricane and sustained wind speeds of about 175 miles per hour. These images show the aftermath of the storm, including damaged homes, downed trees, and power lines. The powerful storm is now heading northwest towards the Philippines and Taiwan. Journalism professor G. Haw is organizing relief efforts for the Mariana Islands and specifically the island where he grew up, Saipan. We'll have that story for you next week.
That is just such a devastating story. I really hope that they can all get help.
So do I, Ashley. Coming up in her extended forecast, Kayla White will let us know if this cool fall weather will continue through the weekend.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
Whoa. For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Good evening, Rebels and Hottie Toddy. We are sitting at a cool 54 tonight, and we're thankful that there is no rain clouds in our sky today. Looking back at our radar image, you can see that except for a little cloud coverage, there's not much going on in Oxford. Moving on to how our neighbors are faring, South Haven is at 56, and Holly Springs is below it at 54, Corinth in the middle, at 55, along with Oxford, and then 2 below at 57. And then tomorrow, things will heat up just a smidge, with Holly Springs at 65, Corinth below it at 64, Oxford and 2 below, or Oxford at 65, and then South Haven and 2 below at 66. All right, so moving on to tonight's forecast, we're going to be sitting at a chilly 43 degrees, so I would stay in and bundle up, or participate in whatever Halloween festivities you have going on. And then tomorrow things luckily will heat up just a bit to 65, sunny, no clouds, so that'll make for a good weekend. And then moving on to our 5-day forecast, we're going to have a few days of dry weather, 76, 66, and then Tuesday 72, Wednesday and Thursday a little lower with some thunderstorms. I would keep that umbrella in my backpack. Back to you.
Thanks, Kayla. The men headed to Auburn today for the SEC Cross Country Championship. See how they made history.
And Ole Miss soccer closed their season against number 7 Vanderbilt. Find out who stepped up for their upset win up next in Sports Watch.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Action.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome to Sports Watch. I'm Spiehler. The Ole Miss cross-country team are SEC champions. 4 Rebels finished in the top 10 of this morning's 8K race. Waleed Sullivan was the top finishing runner for Ole Miss, placing 4th overall. He was named first-team All-SEC. He and the rest of the Rebels led throughout the race, and despite not having a top 3 finisher, the team's effort was enough for them to secure the hardware. It's the program's first ever SEC championship. They also broke Arkansas' streak of 8 straight SEC titles. The 7th-ranked Vandy soccer team came to town last night to face the Rebels, and Ole Miss brought their A-game. In the 34th minute, Halle Stackpole snuck a free kick into the lower left corner to give the Rebs the lead. They took their time to celebrate, but from there it was all business. It was the team's final regular season match, and they protected the 1-goal lead like their lives depended on it. Those were 2 of Morgan McAslin's 3 saves on the night, The Rebels finished the regular season with 12 wins, 6 losses, and a draw as they hand Vandy their first SEC loss of the year. That performance was enough to earn a pair of Rebels SEC honors. Morgan McCaslin was named Defensive Freshman of the Week for her play in the goal, and Haley Stackpole was named Freshman of the Week for her first half score. The Rebels haven't had multiple players earn SEC honors in the same week since 2015. This also brings the Ole Miss Player of the Week total to 5 on the year, and that's tied for the most in program history. Moving forward, the Rebels set their sights on the SEC tournament. They've got a first-round bye, and they'll face Arkansas on SEC Network Tuesday night at 7:30. Deshaun, man, did quarterback Deshaun Watson come on strong for the Texans last night? The Clemson champion threw 5 touchdowns in a blowout win over the Dolphins. 2 of those were to his buddy DeAndre Hopkins, who had one of the best no catches you'll ever see, negated to a questionable pass interference call. That one is worth a Google search. The Texans have now won 5 straight after starting the season 0-3 and have a game and a half lead over Tennessee and Jacksonville in the AFC South. As for the Dolphins, they now fall to 4-4 after winning their first 3. Well, that'll wrap up for sports, but make sure to follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_UM for more of your favorite sports updates. Ashley, Madison, back to you.
Thanks, Sky. Coming up, find out which actor could have used a little help from his friends after finding himself mixed up in a robbery.
And stay tuned to see how no one told him life was going to be this way.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
A robber caught on surveillance video looks so much like David Schwimmer, the actor himself felt the need to provide an alibi. The robbery took place last month in the British city of Blackpool, and city police posted an image of the suspect from CCTV immediately. People noticed the suspect's striking resemblance to the character Ross from the show Friends.
The original post generated more than 100,000 comments and has been shared more than 65,000 times, and it got the attention of the actor himself. Schwimmer posted a spoof video of himself reenacting the incident with the comment, "Officers, I swear it wasn't me. As you can see, I'm in New York."
It is hilarious that they thought it was him.
I know, it actually is. And he was probably so confused when he first saw the video. But you know what? I can't talk because I am extremely confused by this weather. It's hot one day, cold the next. Kayla, what can we expect going into this weekend?
Well, we're going to have sunny temperatures, and I just would be happy for what we do have, while we can hold on to these last few days of what feels like summer, and then we can prepare for fall.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Ashley Muller.
Be sure to join us here again Monday night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Madison Scarpino. Thank you and good night.